67. The story of Timber Wolf Pond within the land called the Changers Church Valley Reservation. The population of Timber Wolf Pond has 600 residents. Has 120 homes, stores, factories, hotel has 200 rooms. The dinner can seat up to 100 in the Changers Church Bank, horse stable with fix-it shop. The Changers Church main office church can seat up to 1,000, council, court, jail, church, school, county school and city hall, general store, laundromat, barber's shop, hairdresser, small hospital, dentist, movie theater, bookstore and gospel music dance hall. When the town gets bigger there are more businesses added. For some reason I got there about dinner time, and when I went into the dinner it seemed like it was almost full. The waiter come up to me and said, "Do you have a reservation?" I said my name and he said, "So what, and who do you think you are, the owner?" I said, "I am the owner. My picture is behind you." Then he turned around and then see my picture and said, "Oh, I am sorry, and I will have your table ready soon." I remember the guy's name, for it was on this name tag. I went to sit in the waiting room and it was no long when he come and said, "Follow me." He took me to my table. How I know is all the hotels, dinners, church, bank are all built the same. So in the hotel I have my room, and in the church I have my office, and in city hall I have my office for the courtroom. This way I put my picture up in each one, so if no one knows me all I have to do is point to my picture and then they know who I am. At the same time I put in my order and I do not do that and walked off. I guess that is not his job. At the front of the dinner. It was not long when someone come over and took my order. I looked around at all the people in here and it was not long when the same person come over and set my meal down and my drink and then said, "Can I get you anything else?" I said, "This fine, and if I need any more I will let you know." I sat and ate and just watched all the people coming and going, and when was done I went out front and I said, "I would like to have my room key, please." The person looked at me and then turned around and then looked at me again and then said, "You must be Jack." I said, "I am," and the person handed me the key. I went to my room and made some phone calls to set things up in the morning, so maybe I can get out of before noon to go to the next place. By now it was bedtime, and see you in the morning. I was woken up by someone pounding on my door, and when I got up and answered it, the person that was on the desk last night was the one I see. He said, "We are having a fight in the dinner," or whose table it was. I said, "Okay, I will be right down." I got dressed and headed down that way. I could hear people shouting and someone else is yelling back. I got there and there was two guys arguing over whose table it was. It seemed there was two tables that looked the same, for they got had order the same thing. I went up and said, "What is going on?" They both said, "Who are you?" and is "I am the owner of the dinner." "My name is Jack," and I said, "What is your names?" They both looked at each other and then, "So what is this problem we are having any concern of? You're causing a scene, and I think if one of look over there at that table, that one of you are at the wrong table." Then one looked over and see the same thing on the table, and then he said, "All right, I got the wrong table," and went to the other table. Well, the guy said thank you and sat down and ate too. I walked off, and then the front desk person come and said, "Wow, that was easy. I wish I had seen that too. I could have fixed it." I looked at him and said, "I guess you could have. I just sit down and then the waiter come over and you solved that quick." I said, "Just happened to look over and see the same thing on another table and then realized that one of them was at the wrong table. I ordered what I wanted and it was not long when they brought it out." I sat and ate and not much else was happening. Then I went to the city hall and went in and went up to the front desk and said I would like the case files brought to my office. The person just looked at me and I pointed at the back wall, and the person behind the counter said, "We'll bring it right down." It was not long when the person brought it to me. I read through all of them and it was time to go to the courtroom and do my thing. When I got there, the room was almost full. I just had a handful of cases. Then the clerk come up and the person said, "I found all of these after I gave them to you." I said okay, and it took almost all day to get thought all the case. Some was easy and others took some time. I did not get done right up to the time it was dinner time. "I am glad this is the last case." I said, "Hold on a minute while I read this." I sat and read it and then said their names to come down front, and it seems everyone that is left is with them. I took care of it and then dismissed everyone and then went to the dinner to eat. "I will come back when I am done to finish up the paperwork." The person said, "That will work and I am going with you." We both left and went to the dinner and got something to eat. When we got done, we went back to the courthouse and finished up the paperwork. I do most of it during the case, but there is things I cannot to do while it is going on. That is to write down the outcome. I guess I can take a little more time to finish the case and write everything down that I want. And then on to the next case. I finally got done and then someone come in and said, "Do you want to take the service night?" I said, "Oh yes, I would." Then I told him what I wanted, and he said he can do that and left. Got up and went back to my room and got ready to go to the church and preach tonight. A little background about this little town. We called this town Timber Wolf Pond for a big reason. Every time we come up here, all we can see is timber wolves everywhere. It might be because of the pond where all the animals come here to drink. So we jokingly said, "Okay, this is Timber Wolf Pond," and it just stuck. It was time to go to the church, and when I got there was someone at the door, and the person said, "Are you Jack?" I said, "I am," and he said, "Come with me. All the churches are just the same inside and outside." So I know where to go, but I just followed the person. We got to a door and it seemed like it was my office, but it was not. It was down the hall. We went in and the pastor was there, and he said everything is in place and we can go and get to the front door first night. We both left and got there just as people started coming in. We both shook everyone's hands, and some it seemed like they have changed. But I was thinking, no way, not here as of yet. But the more I shook people's hands, the more I realized that they were changing back from what I don't know. When all the ones that was coming here, we said it is time to go down front. The pastor got up and did his thing, and then he announced me, and I got up and I preached about earthly things and spiritual things and what the difference is. When I got done, I pointed to the small podium with a mic there and said, "Anyone have questions? Come down from and talk in into the mic." I left the front row empty for this reason. I said, "Sit in the front row, and when it is your turn you can come up and ask one question. If you have more, all you have to do is get back in line." I had all kinds of questions, but most of them was not spiritual but healthy. I answered the questions that was in the rule book, and it seems no one has any. I said, "I will make sure your bookstore has the new rule book, and just about every one of your questions was in there. The pew is now empty." And I said, "If any of you have a question, call my office, and the one there will get your information and your question, and I will get back to when I get home, okay?" With that all said, I said, "Thank you for everyone here tonight, and I hope I will see you all the next time I am here." With that, I headed down to the front and shook everyone's hands on the way out. After everyone left, the pastor said, "Wow, that was some sermon. May I use it sometime?" I said, "You can use it as much as you want and anywhere you want." I said, "Well, it is time to back to my room and get some rest." He said it is for him too. When I got back to my room, the phone was ringing, so I picked it up, and it was someone that wanted to ask a question. I said, "What is?" they said, and I answered it right away. Then I put down the phone and it rang again. This went on until they closed all income calls and on outgoing work now. Boy, was I glad about that. I got up in the morning with the phone ringing, but I did not answer it. I packed and got dressed and headed to the front desk and said I am leaving now and take care of things okay. The person behind the counter said they will, and I headed to the train station. I will see you in the next town. Written by Jack.